Hey everybody, welcome to Squad Pod Sports. We're bringing our thoughts on the latest games and sports news around the sports world, brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. Before we get into the program, we're going to talk about Score No Score app. Make sure to go download it. You know, you can play, you can bet with your friends on, the big games, especially with NFL, baseball. Whenever baseball and every league comes back, you'll be able to play with that as well. Pretty much just betting with your friends. You know who's going to score and who's not going to score in the next possession. But you can download that on Google Play and also on the Apple Store as well. So definitely go check that out. Big week. Probably one of the best weeks in football just happened this weekend. Man. You know, I know it's playoffs and every playoff game, but I feel like every single game this weekend was amazing, especially the last one, which we'll talk about. So, of course, we're going to break down everything within the divisional round games here, go into our picks for the conference games. There's only 2 games before, the Super Bowl here.
There's only 3 real games left.
3 real games left, and I get the Pro Bowl, I guess, if you watch Pro Bowl.
I guess, but then you only still have 4. Yeah. This weekend had 4.
So we'll talk about all that, go into all the, NFL news. There's really not too much, but we'll cover pretty much everything that's out there as of right now. Go into the NBA hot and not and NBA news this week, of course, and then our bias bubbles and crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. So we'll roll right into our divisional round games here, Vern, starting with the Bengals and the Titans. I forget. I'm pretty sure I picked the Titans. I don't remember who you picked.
Yes, you picked the Titans. I picked them Bengals.
So you got that one on that.
Spoiler alert. This was the only one I got right all week. Okay.
Oh.
So I'm going to take this one, man. I knew Joe Burrow was going to win this game. I was like, come on, man. I felt like there was some way Ryan Tannehill was going to mess this up. And sure enough, 3 interceptions later, here we are. I mean, the Bengals weren't doing nothing to really pull away with any one of those interceptions. Burrow didn't even have a touchdown, but I just had a feeling, even with Derrick Henry back, that Ryan Tannehill was going to be the reason they lose this game. Yeah.
So, and I totally saw that as well. I mean, when we were talking about it last week, it could have went either way. I just thought with, them being fully healthy, coming off a rest week, they would be able to do something, but I guess not.
Yeah.
They faltered. Cincinnati was able to pull it up with a last-minute field goal, pretty much like all these games. Every game this weekend pretty much was decided with a field goal, and then you go in, overtime in the last one. The kickers are important, especially in these playoffs here. But Joe Burrow, you said, didn't even have a touchdown. He had an interception. Ryan Tannehill had a touchdown, 3 interceptions. Derrick Henry only had 62 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown. So he was back, but he didn't really look himself.
Right. With that amount of carries, only 62 yards is not Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Dante Foreman had 66 with 4 carries.
Yeah. So, and of course, Jamar Chase, he had over 100 yards, which was as expected, as advertised. I was kind of it was a great game. I mean, all we talked about, all these games were great. But it wasn't the typical game you was expecting to see from the Bengals or from the Titans,
Exactly. Either of these teams are capable of putting up a lot more than 19 or 16 points here. So it was a defensive game there, a lot of big plays on defense. Burrow still almost had 350, but no touchdowns like you were saying.
Yeah. Like you said, you picked the Bengals in that one. You were right. The next one here, the 49ers and the Packers. This one was another knuckleball game. This was a defensive game the whole game. The 49ers, they didn't even really score they scored that touchdown on defense, like the blocked punt. They scored that touchdown, but they didn't score a touchdown on offense, I'm pretty sure.
Jimmy G is not playing championship football right now.
No, he was 11-19 still, but he only had 131 yards and a pick. But they weren't able to get it going on offense, and neither was the reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers on the other side.
He wasn't really able to. Possibly his worst game of the year. I know he was 20 of 29, but they only put up 10 points in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? After winning 13 games, just despicable. I don't know what happened to him.
I have a stat we'll get to later on that, but this was a Green Bay team, based off of pretty much every single game this season is able to put up 20 or 30 points, and they were barely able to put up 10.
Exactly. They did 3 of it in the fourth quarter there. It's just they opened the game with that touchdown and then didn't score again until that field goal at the end.
Yeah, and it just seemed like he was trying to force the ball to Devontae every time, and they were planning on that.
Right. I mean, he did have 90 yards, but still, no touchdowns,
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean Aaron Jones, he had 129, but towards the end there he was just trying to get it to his guy and let him do the work, but it just
Right.
wasn't working.
Yeah, 49ers defense stepped up big time in that game, man.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of questions. With these Packers gone, they have a lot of negative cap room. They got a lot of players that are on 1-year deal that's expiring. They're going to be free agents this year. And then what's Aaron Rodgers going to do? He says that he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild.
I feel like if Devontae, I don't know what domino is going to fall first, Aaron Rodgers or Devontae, but the other will follow. Like if Devontae signs somewhere else, Aaron Rodgers probably going to retire.
Well, I don't think because I think they can throw a franchise tag on Devontae still.
Interesting, because this is his first year in free agency.
Yeah, they could still franchise tag him. Now, will they just let him go? Maybe. I don't know. I guess that depends on Aaron Rodgers.
If they just let him go, Aaron Rodgers is definitely gone.
Oh, definitely. And he said today on McAfee that if he retires, he's not coming back. Like, he doesn't want to be one of those dudes that retires and comes back and plays like another year later. He's done if he retires. So, I mean, he's considering it. He said he considered it last season. So who knows what he's possibly going to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I know he did say something about we'll know before the start of free agency, though.
Yeah, which that's not too much longer. I mean, only like another month or so, month and a half.
Right. But at least it's not going to drag out until training camp type of thing there. So we'll know, and the Packers will be able to move forward regardless of what he decides to do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, who do we have picked in that? We both picked the Packers in this one?
Yeah, we both picked Green Bay.
Yeah, figures. And then the next one here, the Rams and the Buccaneers.
My boy.
He's going. Thomas Wade Brady.
He's
Edward Brady.
He's going to retire, man. Everything that's been coming out talking about Tom Brady over the last couple of days, it seems like he's going to retire.
Even the quotes that he's saying, like he said he's going to consider his future and all that, like he normally does, but like he's reflecting on like his children not having like his dad not being there and his wife having to like carry the load, and it's like, damn, he's really like. It seems like he's closer than he's ever been to retire.
Exactly. Like it would be the least surprising of all if he retired now. And really, what else? What would you like? He has nothing else to prove.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing to prove. The only reason he would come back is because he wants to come back for whatever personal goal Tom Brady has. But he's already the GOAT. You know what I mean? 7 Super Bowls. Like took 2 teams to the Super Bowl. I just thought I don't know what else he has to do. And it's to me as a Patriots fan, I watched him for so long. It's bittersweet because I'm like, yes, he's going to be off the Bucs now. You know what I mean? Like, let's see some pictures of him in Tom Brady Patriots jerseys again, like after he's gone. But then the other side of me is like, this is like a Michael Jordan that we're not going to be able to see anymore. We want to
try to see him as long as possible.
Exactly. So the great career is going to be over here if he retires. But he almost did a classic Tom Brady comeback in this game, bro. They were down 27-3. It was like, almost like I was just sitting there like, there's no way they're out of this game. And then sure enough, here they come.
I was going to say the same thing because, the Rams put it on pretty early. Like it looked like they were just going to just blow past them the whole game. And of course, you see, the camera when every single time this happens, the camera cuts to Tom Brady. He's sitting on the sideline, just looking pissed. And you're like, okay, that's it. That's it. It's over now. He's just going to start coming back. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. The defense is going to be amazing somehow all of a sudden. And just like
all
stop.
of a sudden, something that he has no control over. I don't understand how it happens.
It's just like his aura just like affects others around him. And they're like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
They have MJ's secret stuff from Space Jam is Tom's secret stuff.
Every game. Like you said, that's a good point. I don't know how the hell the defense all of a sudden has their shit together after letting up 27 points.
He gives them like some smoothie of like some avocado and a bunch of other healthy shit.
Exactly. Gets them going, man. Gets them going. But I'd be sad if he retires, but at the end of the day, it's a great career. So it's not like he's retired early by any means. This dude's retiring late, if anything.
Yeah. And on the other side, Matt Stafford rolling through his playoffs, and he's never seen anything like this before.
He's like, yo, this is crazy.
This is crazy. You saying I could have been doing this the whole time?
I could have been in here, I like the stat about the Lions had 1 playoff win over the last 30-some years, and Matt Stafford has 2 over the last 8 days or something like that,
Nuts.
So
it's crazy.
Shows you, man, some of these teams just ain't in the position to win.
Yeah, and I mean, Matt Stafford's been showing up because I mean, we were talking about him being kind of shaky, this season, throwing all these pick sixes and just picks in general and turnovers. And he's been pretty clean these playoffs so far, especially this game. He's pretty efficient.
Right.
But it seems like the Rams are turning on at the right time.
They're doing exactly what they need to do, man. And honestly, I think they beat the 49ers and get to the Super Bowl. I mean, we'll get to that.
It's possible.
I think they're going to win the game, but we'll get to that.
But they made Brady bleed his own blood. He out here leaking.
They did. I was like, yo, they just messed up. That's whatever you knew they messed up. Brady is pissed. Like, he's out here bleeding. He's like yelling at the ref that he got his first ever unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Yeah.
But that's
like the ref said that he said some aggressive or like words to me or whatever. So that's what why he threw it, I guess.
But just a week beforehand, Tom Brady was in an interview talking about how he thinks he's gotten away with so many, you know what I mean? He's like, I've probably gotten away with too many of those screaming at the ref, saying, And
then it came back.
Boom. So that it was fresh on their mind. That's probably a lot of the reason why it happened. Otherwise they would have just shoved it off like otherwise, But
agreed.
Matt Stafford of these Rams, bro. Cooper Kupp, the greatest receiver in the league. Hands down. It's crazy, bro.
Because the Bucs came back and they were looking like they were going to win it, and all it took was one play, and it was just Matt Stafford. And literally, I think it might have been that first possession of that drive. He just bombed it to Cooper, who was wide open. He's just blowing past these defenders.
He was, and I like how Matt Stafford heaved it, and then he got hit, so he didn't even see where it landed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see him kind of get back up to see, and right when he gets up, Cooper catches it. It's crazy, man. Cooper Kupp is gonna be
183 yards and a touchdown in this game.
He's going to be great for years to come. I know he made his first Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, he was Triple Crown, too.
Triple Crown, exactly.
Yeah, he should win MVP, possibly.
That's crazy, man.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But I'm pretty sure I picked the Rams in this one. You went with Tom Brady and that one.
I'll die with Tom Brady. I don't care.
So we're both 1-1 right now.
No. You're 2-1, and I'm 1-2.
Well, we both picked the Packers, who lost, so we're 0-1. You picked the Bengals, and then I picked the Rams, so we're both 1-1 there, going into the last game, right?
Tennessee.
Yeah, you picked the Bengals. I picked Tennessee, so I was 0-1 on that one.
Oh yeah, so you're 1-2. You're 2-1 because you picked the Rams. You got the Titans, or I'm so dumb.
The Titans. So yeah,
you're 1-2.
I was 1-2. Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm 1-2 as well right now.
Yeah.
So we're both not good.
We're right into the last game. Bills and Chiefs. We both thought the upset was coming. We thought, and it was destined to happen. It was there, and they were unstoppable. Josh Allen was slinging it. I feel like every single throw he had was a missile. There was so much force behind every throw, dude.
It was one of the greatest games I've seen in a long time, man.
And that's what I was going to say. It's probably one of the best games, maybe other than, the Super Bowl between the Eagles and Patriots, is probably one of the best games I've ever seen, watched live.
Just back and forth the whole time. Nobody could pull away. And it was close the whole time. And I remember saying last week that the Buffalo Bills were going to win this game by at least a touchdown. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Kansas City, Pat Mahomes, you forget about us already? 3 straight, you know what I mean? 4 straight AFC championship games. Did you forget about us already? So Kansas City went out there and did exactly what they needed to do. Pat Mahomes led the team in rushing with 69 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Kelsey and Tyreek Hill were classic in this game. They were exactly what they needed to be. Even throughout the season, if they're wishy-washy, they showed up when it matters right now in the playoffs here.
Tyreek even did the peace sign on that, the one last touchdown that he had as he ran away. But this, it happens all the time, at least once a year. It brings it up. Should the NFL change the overtime rules? And that's been the conversation after this game is, should Josh Allen and the Bills had a chance to, go down and get a touchdown on this, on the next drive?
I'm on the other side of that where I'm like, no.
You don't care?
Because defense, if you don't want them to score, stop them. If you want the ball back, stop them. Like Josh Allen even said, no, I'm not mad at the rule. If we were on the other side of that, we'd be celebrating too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the rule.
I totally agree.
It is what it is. I don't think anybody deserves a chance necessarily if you didn't even stop them from getting a touchdown. You know what I mean? So like that's just how I feel about it. I feel like if you really want to win the game, then your defense should step up and be like Tom Brady's secret stuff defenses whenever they're down, you know what I mean? And stop them, get the ball back for your quarterback. So that's just
I agree.
I know you're going against Pat Mahomes, but at the same time, Pat Mahomes was just on the other side of this same exact situation 2 or 3 years ago against the Patriots.
That's true. And that's what I'm saying. It happens at least probably once a year.
Everybody's
this conversation comes
Pat Mahomes should have had a chance.
But the reason, because I kind of see it from both sides. But to add on to what you were saying, like you're saying, it's on the defense and saying how important the defense is. Then the other's defense should also get a chance to go again to see if they can get that stop.
I guess I could see it from that point, but like that's not how it's set. You know what I mean? The Bills were the #1 defense in the league this year, right? Mm-hmm. And they couldn't stop Kansas City on one drive to get the ball back for their quarterback.
14 seconds.
Like 13 seconds.
13
that's another
seconds.
Point. Like
less than the Cowboys play at the end of the game.
Exactly. Like I could see where you mean, like, but that's more or less just like, well, if I have to do it, then he has to do it type of thing. Like, no, if you want the ball back, stop him. Simple as that. Yeah. Like they're saying about celebrating in the touchdown. If you don't want me to celebrate, don't let me score. Like simple as that. Simple as that, man. Defense wins championships, but a good defense or good offense beats a good defense.
There was a crazy stat that is under the current overtime rules, teams that win the coin toss have a 10-1 record in the playoffs.
Yep, 90%, something 90%. Like that, like 90 point something,
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I saw some talking about like it was just like a tweet talking about the overtime rules, and it's like, how about we just give each player a Bitcoin, and the first one to explain what the hell it is gets the ball. I was like, that's just so funny.
We should just make the kickers kick for the win. Like, put them back for a certain distance.
Like a
kickoff. Yeah, like a shootout.
That'd be interesting, but like, that would be interesting. That would just be something completely different, though. So, I
don't know, some crazy where you make, like, if you win the coin toss, you can defer to someone, but you get to pick the spot of the ball type shit. Or I don't know, something crazy.
Only change that I would say that I would agree with would be playing a 15-minute quarter regardless.
Just play an extra quarter.
Play an extra quarter, and
that makes sense.
That's the college rules, and I know we don't want to see no 10 overtimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because this could have been like 70-something to 70-something.
Right, but that's the only logical explanation in my head is.
Especially for playoffs, I can understand. Like maybe not during a regular season, but for at least playoffs, like give them just an extra quarter or something.
Right, because it used to be you come down, kick a field goal, and you win. That was some bullshit. That makes some sense as far as being able to give the ball. Like, okay, if you couldn't get a touchdown, now the other team gets the ball and they get a chance. That's perfect to me, man. If they come down and score a touchdown, it's over. Your defense let up a touchdown.
True. So that's the games this week. We'll talk about some news a little bit here before we go right into our picks. I mean, we only got 2 games to talk about going into this next week.
No Tom Brady.
No Tom Brady. No Aaron Rodgers.
No Aaron
Rodgers. Crazy world we live in nowadays. To top off a crazy year, like where anything can happen, it seems.
It's been a great season in the NFL.
So we'll just talk about some news here before we go into the picks. Of course, as everybody knows, as of right now, Sean Payton informed the Saints that he's stepping away from coaching. He said that he's not going to call it retirement because he doesn't like the word.
Oh man!
But he said that he's
gas on the fire.
He said that he wants to explore, possibly getting like a TV deal to broadcast or commentate. But he said he's not going to rule out coaching in the future. Right.
And Dallas is going to be doing whatever they can to try to get him.
Yeah. And that's where, things kind of get a little weird for the next couple of years because the Saints have him until 2024 under contract.
Right.
So they would either have to wait until then or else they would probably have to, give New Orleans something to let the contract go.
We gave the Jets a first-round pick for Bill Belichick. Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely.
Dallas, give up the first round pick and get him because that dude is going to change that franchise. I don't necessarily think he's the greatest coach of all time or anything, but he's literally been. I saw a stat something about he's been the coach since like Tannehill was in middle school or something like that. I forget what player it was, but he's been there so long. He's a staple in the league. He's obviously a great coach, a great football mind. That
Yeah.
That's really the option I've been hearing the most.
Let's just say I hope it doesn't happen.
I understand from your point. I don't want it to happen either necessarily. I'm just talking about like what speculations. Been.
Oh yeah, because I mean he was a coach there before.
Exactly.
He? He was like, I think he was the QB coach or something.
It would make sense. I know he's got a relationship with Jerry Jones. Like Jerry Jones ain't really too happy with McCarthy right now, so I don't know. I guess it all depends because McCarthy still has a job at the moment. So
yeah, for now.
We'll
see if he gets another year or so.
Right. But I mean, speaking of coaching, I know we were talking about this, but I'm a little concerned with. Apparently, I've been hearing rumors about the Raiders are after Josh McDaniels, man. Like,
really? I didn't see that.
I'm like, oh my God, please do not leave us, because
I saw Payton also linked to the Raiders, possibly.
Interesting. That would be a nice fit too, man. That would be a real nice fit.
Yeah,
I like that a lot more than I would like that Dallas situation.
Yeah, so who knows if he's willing to do it right, like get into it now, or like what Peterson did, take a year off type thing.
Yeah. And just kind of, like you said, commentate,
assess, kind of see what he wants to do.
By that point, he's going to be even cheaper, like you were saying, because he's going to only have 2 years left on the contract. So
yeah, and who knows? Maybe at that point he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to coach anymore."
Maybe he comes back to the Saints.
It just goes back to the Saints. He's like, "Dang, we really have like the worst cap situation going into next year. We have Taysom Hill on this huge contract."
That he signed it to, like,
nah, I'm good. I'm gonna peace out.
Oh, God.
I'm good. I'm gonna leave.
That's some shady shit, Sean Payton.
It really is. The Vikings are expected to hire the Browns executive Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah as their next GM. I hope I didn't butcher that name. I hope I didn't butcher it.
I'm probably I would have. No offense to anybody, like I have real trouble pronouncing names, and you made that sound like nothing. You know, that was good, man.
But you saw what he was a part of. Helped build over in the Browns. I mean, I guess you look at it now, they're kind of rough, but I mean, he built a decent team. I felt like he helped build that team. So I mean, going in the Vikings, who know he's probably going to be part of hiring the next head coach there. Kind of build a whole new system. They're kind of rebuilding at this point.
I still don't think they should have got rid of
Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer. Yeah. He's a great coach, man, and I've seen. It might be because I have a soft spot for him. I've seen some documentaries about him and like things like that, and like I like Zimmer, man. So I just don't think he deserved to lose his job. The Vikings.
He's been there a while, but I mean, it's he had these last couple years have been bad, but I mean before that, I mean they've been in the playoffs pretty much every year at that point.
Right, with Christian Pond, shit like that, like you know what I mean?
Who knows now with like a new GM and coach coming in. Will they want Kirk Cousins there? I could see them trying to move on, try to get someone younger,
Yeah, because I think Kirk Cousins is still going to be all right. He's just not necessarily maybe he's like a Matt Stafford, where if you put him in the right situation, he's going to be able to make your team go to the playoffs and do work. But I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I think it's a good GM hire, but I just don't know what they're going to do for coach going forward here.
Yeah. The Chiefs executive director of player personnel, Ryan Poles, is going to be the Bears' next GM as well. So that's a big signing for them because, executive director for Chiefs, he knows something about building a legit franchise, and the Bears need that right now.
Right. So this could be huge for him. Kind of like the GM of Buffalo going to New York. That could be huge for New York.
Exactly.
Dude just built Buffalo up. So let's see. If this guy could go from the Chiefs to the Bears the same way and just kind of build them to a successful franchise, based off of defense. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, and I mean, you already mentioned it. The Giants hired Bills assistant GM Joe Schoen as their GM. So I mean, he's going to be looking for that next head coach here coming around.
Well, no, they did fire their coach. That's right.
Joe Judge gone.
That's right. He wasn't part of the initial firings.
Yeah.
So I forgot about that. But yeah, jeez.
And speaking of Giants ex-head coaches, the Panthers hired Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator.
This dude's back in the league.
He's back in the league.
That's the weirdest name I've ever heard.
Ben McAdoo.
And like I said, no offense to nobody, but that's just such a weird, I feel like he should be like a character in a McDonald's commercial or something. You know what I mean? But good luck, man. Good luck. Do your thing.
Good luck with that. They go on like use you as a scapegoat and fire
Yeah.
you next, just like
Yeah.
the dude before.
Exactly.
The Ravens surprisingly fired their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale.
Yep, I saw that as well, and that was very interesting. I
I'm
know
kind
they're
of hoping my birds go out and scoop him, or Vic Fangio. He's still out.
Yeah, Vic Fangio would be a good coach to have on your staff underneath Sirianni there. But
Yeah,
I just I don't know, man. It's just kind of another surprising move, like you're saying. I know they are coming close to extension with Harbaugh, so they're trying to make sure he rolls on. But speaking of the Ravens, this isn't really news or anything, but you see that thing about AB posting a picture of him in a Ravens jersey?
Yeah, and they said on a podcast that he wants to play with Lamar. Like, bro, Ravens, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Steelers, Buffalo, Las Vegas, or Oakland at the time, Patriots, Tampa Bay. That's 5. That's 5
within like 2-3 years.
Exactly, bro. Don't do it. Lamar, don't do it. Go talk to Tom Brady first and see. I think he should go ask Tom Brady what he should do, because Tom Brady
don't save him. He don't want to be saved. Don't save him.
He don't want to be saved.
You don't want to be saved. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I wanted to throw that out there, man. I thought that was pretty ridiculous. This dude is crazy. He's just like, he's like out here picking where he wants to go every time type of thing, like, which is probably every NFL player's dream, but he's going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Let me see here. The 4 games in this weekend's divisional round were decided by a total of 15 points for an average margin of victory of 3.8 points per game, and that's the lowest average of victory in NFL playoff history.
It should have been 12 points, realistically, because there was 3 field goals, and like, why not have the 4th game decided by a field goal too? But with that 6 points from the overtime touchdown, that's where the difference is. That's crazy. You said it's the lowest amount ever.
Yeah, with it said within a 4-game series, in the playoffs.
Right. Damn. That's crazy. So this was one of the best weekends of football we've had in a long time.
Exactly. And we hinted at it earlier. This is kind of a fact. The Packers' 10 points versus the 49ers was the lowest scoring output by Aaron Rodgers-led team in the playoffs.
Ever.
Ever. Previously, Rodgers' teams had never scored fewer than 20 points in a playoff game.
Oh, my God. So it's like way down there, too.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And Aaron Rodgers 0-4 against the 49ers in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
0-4, man.
0-4.
And I can't help but think about that video where he's like, are you disappointed that 49ers didn't draft you? And he's like, not as disappointed as they're going to be. You know what I mean? And like, I'm thinking like, bro, you
irony,
gave
bro.
them 4 wins, you know what I mean? So I don't think they're that disappointed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine if they traded Jimmy G and got Aaron Rodgers, bro.
They've been the 2 Super Bowls, the same as the Packers,
Yeah.
So,
True. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, the exact quote that he had talking about his future with the Packers, he said, so many guys' contracts are up and on the brink, lots of decisions to be made. I don't want to be part of a rebuild if I'm going to keep playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows?
End of an era, man. Ben, Brady, Rodgers. If they're all gone, our childhood's gone.
Yeah. And I mean,
a new day.
People say the Steelers, but they're in the middle of a rebuild. I feel like they're not a quarterback away because they have Chase Claypool. Juju's a free agent. He's apparently linked to the Chiefs again. Like, he wants to go to the Chiefs.
That'd be awesome.
So who knows what's going on there? I feel like the Steelers are kind of rebuilding, retooling their roster. So I feel like that wouldn't be a perfect fit for him or what he's looking for.
No.
Everybody's talking about like the Broncos. So who knows what? Maybe he goes to San Fran. He goes home.
The Broncos,
if they get rid of Jimmy
Fran,
G.
Philly.
I don't know. I feel like we're in a worse spot than the Pittsburgh is. He's not going to want to come to Philly, man. No way.
Yeah, but you got Devontae Smith. That's it. Devontae Adams. It's like
I feel like
there. He's like, oh, you just be my dude Devontae.
If he stays with the Packers, that's way better option than going to Philly.
I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. Sides with the Jags.
Yeah. What the?
What? Goes to the Super Bowl. We're all like, what the fuck? Like Tom Brady with the Bucks. Like, whoa. Really? He went to the Bucks, and next thing you know, he went to the Super Bowl. Like, what the hell?
Tom Brady retires, and Aaron Rodgers just goes to the Buccaneers.
Yo, that'd be crazy.
Like, great. That's great. Great.
That'd be awesome, man. But like I said, I don't think he goes anywhere. Like you were saying as well, I think he either plays for the Packers or retires.
I saw something about like what if Brady retires and they get Jameis Winston back on the Bucs.
Jameis got LASIK now, man.
Got
like
LASIK.
Throw him in there. I bet you if Jameis played a full season last year, he would have had a great year. You know, maybe
probably
not MVP type season, but he would have had a great year. You know, better than Kirk Cousins type of shit. You know.
And more news, Tennessee tied the single game playoff record for 9 sacks with 9 sacks.
Yeah, and lost. How?
How, Sway?
Poor Joe Burrow, man. And if Kansas City's defense is anything like they were against Buffalo, look out, Joe Burrow, man. Like, protect them legs. It's going to be scary.
Exactly. He was running for his life.
Yeah.
They finally got it figured out a little bit, like going through the game. They were figuring out some adjustments, but it was rough for a minute.
But they pulled it out.
This is a big blow. We talked about Steelers a little bit. Steelers defensive coordinator Keith Butler says it informed the team he's retiring.
Yeah, so that's huge.
Yeah, he apparently played 10 NFL seasons and was an assistant for 23 more, including 19 with Pittsburgh, where he's part of the 2 Super Bowl wins. So this is a huge hole for the Steelers, who they're known for their defense, and this guy's been an integral part of making that. So what are they going to do going forward, to keep up that intensity on defense?
Right. I mean, I trust in Tomlin to figure something out there where they'll end up fielding a decent team. I know we both think they're in a rebuild, but somehow they squeak out a winning season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a retool, like how we always say. It's not an exact rebuild; it's a retool. But they need to figure out that QB situation. You can't be rolling in with Mason Rudolph or
don't put Haskins out there.
Haskins,
exactly.
Baker Mayfield is expected to make a full recovery from a shoulder surgery in 4 to 6 months. Expect him light throwing in April.
Awesome. I mean, I would hate to see the Browns move on from Baker. I know it's been floating around all the time, and it's just
dude
ridiculous.
Has been tore up this year, bro. His shoulder has been hanging off his body,
and he's still been trying. Still almost made the playoffs. You know? So I don't really care about the Browns, but I like Baker Mayfield, man. I would like to see him.
Can't give up on him.
Exactly.
And the last thing I really have here, Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, and Calvin Ridley are likely to be traded this offseason, apparently.
Really? DK?
Yeah. Apparently DK is in there just because it's looking like the Seahawks may be actually rebuilding going into the season. It's looking more and more likely that the Seahawks are rebuilding this season.
Interesting. And Pete Carroll's still coming back to coach?
I guess. I haven't heard anything about him doing anything else, but
it's so crazy. Like when you have the oldest player or oldest coach, like Tom Brady, every year you got people younger than him retiring every year.
I always forget how old Pete Carroll is because he doesn't look like it.
Bill Belichick. He's the oldest coach in the league, bro.
He's always running down the sidelines, chewing his gum.
He's got to be like in the best shape of his life, but he's older than Bill Belichick. So. And he's showing no signs of slowing down as far as coaching. None. I know his teams haven't been the best lately, but he's going to keep on going.
That's all the news that I have this week as far as NFL. So we can roll right into our conference championship picks brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network and Squad Pod Sports. Talking about the first one here, man. This is a 3:00 game. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bengals. And Kansas City are 7-point favorites in this game, man.
To be honest with you, and it's mostly because of a lot of what we've talked about during this episode here. I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs because coming into this, I was in the mind state that I was gonna pick the Bengals as a cheeky pick.
Yeah.
But the more we talked about the Chiefs, the more we talked about Bengals O-line problems. I really think this is the Chiefs' game to lose type of thing, and if the Bengals win, it's gonna be a miracle.
And these teams actually just played not too long ago.
I know.
The Bengals, I listen, I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just letting the audience know. The Bengals won 34-31. Joe Burrow had 446 yards in this game. 4 touchdowns. Pat Mahomes had 259. But it was 34-31. It was a close game. I mean, I expect the same out of this one. But, it's the Bengals. They're so young, such a young team. I know everybody's surprised to see them come this far.
Right.
But with the Chiefs going up against the juggernaut that was the Bills, which the Bills should probably look like they should have won that game. I mean, I don't see the Bengals coming out on top in this, man, at all.
Kansas City, like to them, that was the toughest matchup of the playoffs right there, was Buffalo. So they got past that hump.
They got past that. I think this one's going to be smooth sailing for them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything, but I don't think they're going to have nearly as much trouble.
In Kansas City as well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like what you're saying, that Chiefs D is going to be all over Burrow.
Right, exactly. So I'm rolling with Kansas City in this game.
Yeah, I will too. So in the next one here, the 6:30 game, 49ers and the Rams. Rams are 3.5-point favorites in this game. Now, the interesting thing is the 49ers have beat them both times this season.
Right. This is in LA as well.
Yeah.
And this LA team is playing a little bit better than it has been in the regular season.
Did you see that their the ticketing system for this game?
No.
Since it's a home game for the Rams, they have I think it's for like the first couple days of sales. Only people within the residential area for the around the stadium can buy tickets, so they can make sure it's a home game so it's more Rams fans. So it's not because the last game they had there, I think it's SoFi, it was filled with 49ers fans. So they're trying to make sure these Ram fans get first come, first serve to get into the stadium. So it's more of a home game. Yeah. So they're kind of please. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I saw something about Frank Gore offering to buy a bunch of fans tickets so they can have as many people there as possible.
I saw that too. So you're picking the Rams in this one?
Yes, I'm picking the Rams. I think I'm gonna start calling him Matty Ice because Matt Ryan ain't doing shit lately, you know. So
this is the new Matty Ice.
This is the new Matty Ice right here, even though he's been around for a decade. Matty Ice right here, you know, he's gonna come into this game. He's gonna go up against Jimmy Garoppolo, who has yet to throw a touchdown in this playoffs. I don't know how they made it this far. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It was that blocked punt that went to a touchdown, bro. That's how they did it.
This dude still ain't scored a touchdown, made it to the NFC Championship game. Whatever.
And the kicker won it for him too. But
Robbie Gould is the MVP. Okay, did you see that?
Cold as ice.
Did you see that video of him warming up?
Savage.
Like with the cheerleaders. Right
there with the Packer,
there was two of them, because there was two videos. There was one where the cheerleaders were walking super close to him, and one where the players were all running out, and he was kicking.
Yeah, the Packers players were running out, and he's right beside him, just kicking field goals. Just do savage.
Ridiculous, you know. But I'm picking the Rams. I gotta go with LA. You know, it's gonna be another team playing a home Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with the Rams as well, even though the history says the 49ers, pretty much for the same reasons. The only concerns I have on the Rams side is that 49ers defense is nice, you know. And, I mean, I know we talked about Matt Stafford playing a clean playoff so far, but this is the team that could, cause them some frustrations a little bit. Yeah. But the Rams have all three of their running backs back, and I don't know if anybody's going to be able to stop, all of them the whole game. So as long as they, lean on the run a little bit, play action to Cooper Kupp here and there, Odell and stuff, I think they'll be fine. I think as long as they make Jimmy G have to play and have to throw and score touchdowns, I think they're going to be all right. They'll get the win.
Exactly. If they don't let them get up early or anything like that, the Rams should be able to cruise to a victory like they were supposed to against Tampa Bay there. But I don't see the 49ers putting up a comeback like that, so.
Yeah. I agree. So I'm going to go with the Rams in that one as well, man. And now, since we already kind of made our picks, what are you kind of predicting for a Super Bowl? Or do you want to save that for next week?
Yeah, keep rolling. I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm predicting that the Chiefs win another Super Bowl.
You think so?
I think so. And it's just because they're on a tear. Tyreek and Kelsey, it's not like their window is going to be closing anytime soon, but all of these players are aging. Andy Reid isn't the youngest head coach either. I think he's something like third or fourth all time postseason wins now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I trust in the Walrus. Andy Reid's gonna go get it taken care of, man. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna have a great game plan for whoever they match up against. And if it's the 49ers, we already seen this. We already know how that's gonna go. So I would love to see LA Rams versus the Chiefs. That's what I want to see. And same. I think that the Chiefs are going to win the game.
I agree. And mainly because even though they have Cooper Kupp, I don't think that the Rams are built to go, touchdown, like a shootout with,
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes, like how the Bills were. I don't think
right.
they're going to be doing that. And I think
Especially,
if they're going to try to do that, that's when Matty is going to start throwing some picks and turnovers.
right. But especially if that Chiefs defense is playing the way they've been playing, it's going to
Yeah,
be even
true.
harder for them.
So yeah, I mean, if it is the Rams and Chiefs, I'm going to pick the Chiefs in that. Man, I don't even know about a score. If that happens, we'll pick a score. But
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that next week if it happens. We'll get on the specifics.
But yeah, I would say the Chiefs are going to win that if it's against the Rams.
Yep. Pat Mahomes, voted his legacy, man.
So those are our picks for the conference championship game and the season. Even though it was an extra game longer this year, it still went by like so fast.
It's already over,
like nothing.
man.
Already almost over.
Now we got NBA.
Now we got NBA. So we can go right into your hot and not list, Vern.
All right. So this week I only had a couple teams because it's been like nobody's really streaking like crazy,
Yeah.
Like there's one or two teams, but like
we're hitting
there's usually
midpoint in the season where
we're about 50 games into the season.
Not super dominant teams, they already got their lead probably at this point, and now it's just just sustaining that.
They're trying to get to the All-Star break at this point,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The best team in the league as far as being hot right now, I'm gonna roll with Phoenix. Okay, they're on a 7-game win streak, 9-1 over the last 10 games. Devin Booker's rolling. He's playing great basketball right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're the best team in the league right now. Pretty much, there's 37-9. They're the only team with less than 10 wins, less than 10 losses.
They haven't even lost 10 games this season yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then, number 2, I'm gonna have Atlanta. The Hawks are on a 4-game winning streak. They're 5-5 over the last 10, but they're trying to build up. They're on a 4-game streak, so I put them on the hot list there. And then I had Milwaukee as well, who is also 5-5, but they're on a 3-game winning streak. Like I said, there's not too many other teams doing that much better than either of them to really deserve to be up there with Phoenix. So on my not list, you're lucky, Houston. You were in the middle of the pack this week. When I was looking at it, you had 1 win or 1 loss. So like you're off the list. Houston's not on my list this week. OKC, 6 straight losses. They're number 1 on the not list. Okay, they're 1-9 over the last 10. Get your shit together. Okay,
get it together.
Get it together. Come on. Sacramento lost 3 straight. That's not terrible, but they're sliding a little bit. 2-8 over the last 10 games there. Washington on a 3-game loser streak as well. 4-6 over the last 10 games. And then I wanted to put this team in here as well, even though they're not on a crazy streak. Utah has lost 2 straight, but they're 2-8 over the last 10 games, and it's not what you expect out of a Utah team. I know they're dealing with some injuries and everything, but like Utah, they are really needing to rebound here. So that's my hot and not list for this week here.
Okay. So we'll go into some of the news here. The biggest news that came out today is kind of an all-star format change a little bit. The NBA is having a new format with the Rising Stars. The younger players that are just coming in the league. During All-Star Weekend, they're going to have 4 7-player teams competing in a 3-game tournament, and each game is having a final target score. So it's going to consist of 28 players, 12 rookies, 12 sophomores, and for the first time, 4 G League Ignite players are going to be in there.
That sounds like a really cool thing to do there.
Yeah, and also it'll have a clutch challenge in the middle of games 2 and 3, where 8 NBA and G League Ignite players are divided into 4 teams of 2 and make 5 baskets from locations of iconic NBA playoff shots.
Oh my God! See, the NBA knows what they're doing. They know how to bring the fans into everything. They know how to produce the entertainment, man. Every year they're trying something. That's awesome. I'm loving Adam Silver and everything that he's been doing for the league lately.
And this is the last thing here is a little bit more on the target score. The 2 semifinal games will be played to a final target score of 50. The final game will be played to a final target score of 25, a total of 75 points in honor of the 75th anniversary season.
Another cool little tidbit there, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pretty much like whoever gets to that point, I get like up to 50 and then 25. I guess they win that game. But
right.
I thought that was pretty cool, having like a little tournament for the Rising Stars.
That's going to be really interesting, and I think it's a test run for the in-season tournament that they want to bring.
Exactly.
This is really
there's something going on.
There's something behind. This is just a casting the line right now. Like, how do they respond to this when we do it with rookies and sophomores in the All-Star weekend? Like, it doesn't affect anything. Let's see what they think. Boom, 2023, they're gonna have that $1 million tournament. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I would love to see it. It's just so weird. It's so different. Think about LeBron playing in a tournament. Like, it's just weird. I would love to see that because it's so different.
Some Nets news here. KD is not going to be playing All-Star Weekend. That was just announced.
He's out until at least after All-Star Weekend, which that's terrible, man. But
terrible news.
They just lost to my Lakers tonight, and I know they're missing Kyrie and KD, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And we just got AD back tonight, but I was happy with the win. Brooklyn just needs to not slide too far without KD there.
Yeah, that's true. And the other news that broke out today, James Harden intends to pursue free agency after this year, voicing frustrations over living in Brooklyn and Kyrie Irving's part-time status.
Yep.
And one of the biggest teams that are out there trying to get him is the 76ers. Apparently this offseason they're all in on trying to get James Harden over there. So be on the lookout for that. We'll talk about that more as it develops, but that's a team
he's a free agent?
Yeah. He'll be able to leave. Yeah, I think he only had like a 2-year deal. It's looking like the Nets are probably going to be parting with Kyrie Irving. They're not going to want to keep dealing with this. So it may be just KD chilling and Brooke. We called this once this happened. Like
exactly.
We knew one or at least two of them are going to be gone after like 2 years.
It's just not something sustainable like KD, Russ, and Harden were for years. Like when they're all young, they're all on lower contracts. Like it's just something that. And they're not super big-headed where they're all superstars now. You know what I mean? So he's going to be able to get some nice pieces there, but we'll see what superstars want to go play with KD in the future, which I know he'll get somebody, but I don't know who it'll be. That's for the future to tell.
And we talked about this last week, but it actually took a little bit of a turn. Paul George, they were expecting him to be back maybe within like 4 weeks. They're saying that surgery may be an option now, and that could keep him out the rest of the season.
Oh, poor Clippers. No Kawhi. No Paul George.
No Paul George.
What's crazy is like we have all of our players and we're still only 500. So like, I can't even say nothing, man. I can't even.
You guys at least won something at least like a year or two ago, though. 2 years ago.
That's true. They never win.
They never win anything.
But we're actually the same record as the Clippers right now. Now that I look at it here, we're 24-24. The Clippers are 24-25. So they're 1 game less than us. But I'm talking shit like you're still a baby brother. I don't care.
Philadelphia's preference is to wait until the offseason to trade Ben Simmons, hopefully to get James Harden or another star into the lineup. And this son of a bitch. NBA suspended Milwaukee's Grayson Allen for 1 game.
Ridiculous.
Hurting my boy who's out like 6 to 8 weeks he broke his wrist. Caruso, he just came back from an injury. Literally, I think it was his second game or his first game back. Played great. And then, got thrown to the floor pretty much. More
of the same from Grayson Allen. It's like, when are we going to realize that this dude does, like, it's a pattern? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Since Duke, this dude has been doing this. And I never liked Grayson Allen. Never.
Bro, and it's the Bucks are doing everything to defend him. Because, like, it's crazy because after it happened, he started smiling and went back to the bench and was, like, laughing. And then he didn't even, like, go in and check on him, like, see if he was all right. Caruso played the rest of the game with a broken wrist somehow. He didn't even leave. He went back out and played the rest of the game. And then he was diagnosed, like, the next day with a broken wrist.
And he's like, really?
Yeah. And then, like, after the game, they were saying, like, I forget who was saying, one of the Bucks teammates was saying, like, that was just a hard foul. Like, it was clean, though. No, it's not. And then the next morning, the Bucks Twitter itself, the official Bucks Twitter posted good morning with a gif of, what's his name? Grayson Allen. Like, it was just a pic, like a Grayson Allen, a smiling, and it said good morning. And then literally the Chicago Bulls Twitter, like, posted under it, said, really?
Like, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, like they knew what they did.
Oh my God, I just watched it again. I just pulled it up real quick.
Yeah.
That is not a hard foul. Like, that is not just a basketball play.
The first one, he swung, but he brought his arm and, like, pulled him down.
Exactly. Into the ground, into the hard court. You know what I mean? That's something that one game suspension, really? One game? I don't agree with that at all, NBA.
I don't either.
I think I don't want to see him out for a month or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I think 4 or 5, 6, like it should have been
like that
extended. He should have been out of, their rotation for at least a week. Like at the very least a week. So I've seen so many memes about Lakers fans and Bulls fans hate for Grayson Allen. Like, I am with you 100%. Alex Caruso is the man, and I'm still distraught that we don't have him anymore. Okay,
I saw that picture of it was like the blood and the Crips holding that like thing.
Yeah,
and it said like Lakers and Bulls fans, Alex Caruso, or like hate for Grayson Allen.
Exactly, support for Alex Caruso, hate for Grayson Allen, and I'm with you, man. Like, I love Alex Caruso, so I'm rooting for him on your Bulls there, man.
Oh man, so hopefully he's back for playoffs.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a little bit, Lynn. Paul Millsap and the Brooklyn Nets have agreed to find him a new team here during trade deadline, either with a trade or a buyout. It's looking like possible look for him, maybe go to the Bulls, because they were actually looking to sign him before he signed with the Nets.
Right.
Yeah, and he'll actually probably get some playing time there. Boston Celtics are open to moving Al Horford and Josh Richardson, apparently. So be on the lookout for that.
Some old heads, some veteran players,
Yep. And some sad news today. This past week, Naismith and Women's Basketball Hall of Fame Lucia Harris has unexpectedly passed at age 66. She was the only woman ever officially drafted in the NBA in 1977.
So crazy, man. Like, the only woman ever drafted to the NBA. So it's sad. Like, rest in peace. It's sad to see her go, but that's a great honor.
Historical.
I'm glad that they're recognizing her.
Exactly. And the last two things I have here, Steph Curry hit a buzzer beater to win the game the other night, and that was his first buzzer beater to win a game. I don't know if you know that. That's crazy. Out of all these years, out of all these clutch shots, that's the first one he's ever hit to win a game.
I didn't know that, but I saw the stat talking about that. So I was like, really? That was his first ever game winner, Steph Curry? But it is what it is. I know he's had Clay, he's had, like KD, so it's not necessarily like it's not necessarily like he's always been in a position where you need to make the last shot. Most of the time they're up.
True. That is true.
Most of the time they're blowing people out.
That is true. I didn't think about it like that. And the last thing is actually trade news. Denver, Boston, and San Antonio made a 3-way trade that includes Juancho Hernangomez to the Spurs. I think it's Bryn or Brian Forbes to Denver, and Bol and PJ Dozier to the Celtics.
Interesting. I would really like to see Bol turn into something. I would too. All that raw talent,
Yeah.
I would love to see him turn into something. Herman Gomez is always a nice piece. You see him being traded a lot and moving around, but that's because he's a valued commodity. I know they're getting rid of him, but another team wants him. He's a good piece for system. So that's cool, man. Good for everybody there.
We got some breaking news we'll get to, because that was the last bit of NBA news I have. Antonio Brown said he's going to pursue a lawsuit against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over his release.
Okay. This dude.
That's breaking news. Great.
I just don't even know what to say, because he's not going to win. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll have some type of NFL films. You know how they're always micing up the sidelines. There's got to be video or audio of what was said on the sidelines. There's going to be evidence. So, and to be honest, I don't really care which way this comes out, but I hope the truth comes out. I would love to see if Bruce Arians was the dickhead that AB makes him out to be. You know what I mean?
Hopefully that comes out.
Right. This is kind of a good thing, because we'll get some more light shed on this situation.
Hopefully.
I don't think he'll win, but that's interesting. Very interesting.
And we don't talk about MLB, but this is actually pretty big news. David Ortiz been elected to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Tonight. And most bigger news, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Curt Schilling were not chosen in their 10th and final year on the writers' ballot. pretty much ending their, chance to get in.
Which is a little ridiculous. But the MLB is stuck to their guns. It'd be a little ridiculous to let them not be in for 9 years and then let them in on the 10th.
Yeah.
So I disagree with it 1,000%. I think all three, like, they should definitely be in. I don't care about like juicing up. Like, it was great for the sport. It was. I mean, I don't know. That's such a tough argument. I don't want to have that conversation here. But I think Barry Bonds is one of the greatest baseball players of all time, before or after. It doesn't matter. Like, he's the home run king. This dude needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Hands down.
Yeah, you would think.
Speaking of baseball, this isn't related to Barry Bonds, but another great, Ken Griffey Jr. I saw a quote from him today, an old quote, talking about if there was only one team left, nobody else wanted to sign me, and it was the Yankees, I'd retire. And I just thought that was hilarious. Like, I'm a Yankees fan, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, he's like, if there was only one team left, nobody else wanted, like, if there was one team left in the world, and it was the Yankees, I'd retire. Like, it's just too funny to me. Seattle, you know what I mean? They're rivals, so it is what it is. But I still always have respect for Ken Griffey Jr., man.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to play Ken Griffey Jr. baseball on Super Nintendo all the time back in the day, man. I love that game.
Exactly.
But he was actually one of my favorite baseball players growing up. Like, when I was actually paying attention, like, when I would watch, me and my dad would watch games when I was younger.
Always had the hat backwards.
Always had the hat backward. Yeah, exactly.
He was relatable.
Exactly. But that's all the news that I have. We can go right into the bias bubbles here. I don't know how much you got.
Yeah, not much for my Patriots. I kind of hit on one of these. I have two things here. I'm very worried about Josh McDaniels leaving. I know nothing.
You think
concrete,
so?
Nothing concrete has come
I
out.
feel like we hear about this every year, every couple years, and that's never happens.
I get more and more worried every year, type of thing, because it didn't happen.
He's like, damn, is Bill not gonna retire? Maybe I should go somewhere.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, what kind of backdoor, like, secret deal do they have? Like,
they have to have some sort of deal, bro.
Hasn't left yet. It doesn't make any sense. Even with
don't worry, you'll get your time. It'll be your team eventually.
When, Bill? When?
What, Bill? You keep telling me this every year, but it hasn't happened.
I'm very worried he's gonna leave, because my main issue, like, I'm Bill Belichick till I die, obviously, but if he leaves, we need a backup plan, man. Who else other than Josh McDaniels to be that guy? And we know it's not going to be this season. Bill Belichick's coming back for this season, so at least 2023 before McDaniels has the reins. And it's hard to pick. Like, if I'm Josh McDaniels, like, I'm looking at this from a personal scope, like, it'd be so hard for me to turn down all these other, like, make more, like, millions of dollars more for your deals, because your own system. It'd be so hard to turn that down year after year after year after year. But he's got a great relationship and trust with the Patriots, so maybe that's what holds the weight. That could be more important than anything. That could be way more important than money.
And, like, being with, like, around the system, you help develop and everybody.
Robert Kraft, everything about it, So I would love for McDaniels to stay. I'm just super worried about him leaving, but that's a every offseason thing now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then one of the bigger things I'm worried about is J.C. Jackson being a free agent. He's like our best cornerback. You know what I mean? Like, if this dude leaves, we're gonna have to retool. That's what we're gonna have to start retooling. But
get a corner in the draft.
He's gonna be super expensive. He had a great season last year.
Looking for a contract, get the bag.
Exactly. I know we gave Gilmore the bag, but I don't know if we'll give Jason. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just worried that he's not going to be in a Patriots jersey next year, because he's one of my favorite defensive players. But, like, I was thinking about getting one of his jerseys, but we'll see what happens. If he resigns, then I'll probably get one of his jerseys. But that's all I have for my Patriots there. For my Lakers, okay, now that my Patriots are out, I'm shifting all my focus to my Lakers, okay? AD came back tonight. I had no idea. I just knew that the Lakers Nets.
I knew it was coming. I saw that. That was a big thing today. Bro, everybody's making a big deal about it.
I had no idea. I thought this dude was going to still be like 3 weeks away from being evaluated to come back, just because I haven't really been paying too much attention to that specific situation.
Yeah.
But I turned the game on because I wanted to watch Lakers Nets. I want to see LeBron and Russ and Melo out there. Sure enough, AD's out on the floor. He caught, like, the first possession of the game. He caught an oop from LeBron. I was
nice.
Yes, I was just so happy. I just didn't expect it. super
That's a big
surprising
boost for you.
Huge boost. And hopefully we can kind of just put a gap in between us and 500 now. That's what we really need to do. We're sitting there right at 500 at 24-24. Frank Vogel, he's been on the hot seat, okay?
Yeah.
Apparently, we've lost 5 of the last 8 games, and they're thinking about firing him after every loss type of thing, where it's like...
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I would like to see our players be a little bit more vocal about keeping him, but LeBron's doing what LeBron does, and he's just kind of staying out. He's like, oh, I don't make those decisions, blah, blah, blah. Even though we know you make that decision, okay? He's like, oh, I don't make those decisions. I just go out there and play basketball. Whatever. Frank Vogel's on the hot seat. I really don't want to see him leave unless... I know we have David Fizdale there as well as an assistant. Maybe promote him the head coach. Braun and him are tight, but I don't want him to get fired. I think Frank Vogel has been a fine coach for us. Like, yeah, it's hard to control all these megastars. You know what I mean? You got Melo, Russ, LeBron, and AD all on the same team, and then you also have all these other players, young players, and Malik Monk and things like that. So it's tough, man. I just don't think he deserves to be fired. I don't think this is necessarily his fault. Yeah. I know he's the scapegoat. He takes the blame. It's not like they're going to cut LeBron, but it is what it is. I know they're not going to trade Russell Westbrook. It's pretty firm that they're sticking to their guns. They have to work out this experiment. They're not going to trade Russ midway through the season here. I
did see that the only team that was willing to trade for him was the Rockets, which was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. That's ridiculous. Like, why would they even...
Like, the Rockets were interested in bringing him back.
I guess Daryl Morey's gone since...
Yeah.
So I know I think that was James's main problem, but it is what it... Wait, isn't he in Philly now?
Yeah, he's the GM of Philly.
So I don't know if James Harden going to come to them Sixers. We'll see about that.
He's the one that wants him there.
That's a topic for another day. I just clicked. I was like, wait a second. I
didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right.
We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, he's the GM for the Sixers.
The last thing I have here is LeBron leads the NBA in All-Star votes once again with 6.8 million votes, where Stephen Curry is second with 6 million. So it's another day of LeBron being a captain for an All-Star team.
Last in the NBA, he's gonna still have the most
All-Star votes. Didn't Kyrie get a bunch of votes?
Yeah.
This dude didn't even play it. So
Klay Thompson had a ton of votes, and he played like 4 games now, 5 games now. It's exactly what it is.
But that's all I have for my bias bubble here.
I'll start off with the Eagles just because I only have one thing. In pretty much the closing press conference after the game, after taking that L to the Bucs and everything, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni had a press conference together, and both of them confirmed Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting QB for the 2022 season. Do I believe him? No, absolutely not.
I think if Russ comes knocking, Jalen Hurts.
Exactly. If they can make a deal where they don't have to get rid of all 3 of those picks to get like a Russ or something, I guarantee you they will.
Whatever they do, I pray that they don't get rid of Jalen Hurts. Like, if you get Russ,
I hope not. Just
put Jalen on the back burner. Imagine what
Let
he
him
could
grow
learn
with Russ. Yeah.
Oh my God, bro! Imagine what he could learn from Russ. Like,
agreed.
It'd be little weird having a starting QB1 put on the back burner for a year or two. You know what I mean?
But yeah, especially after playing a full season. Yeah.
I don't like it. I would rather you guys stick with Jalen.
So he'd be pissed off. He'd be like, you know what? Hell, I don't want to play here.
I think it would stunt his growth. I know he would. Like we were saying, he would learn a lot from Russ, but it's just that's not what you need to do to your young QB1. Don't
I agree?
Yeah. So I really hope you guys don't get Russ just because of Jalen. But I think for your better interest, Russ would be a better option right now.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But I hope you guys don't get him just because I'd rather see Jalen Hurts out there.
I agree. And even though he is the better option right now, I don't see Russ making us an instant contender.
Exactly. It's like really that much of an improvement.
Yeah.
Dude never won an MVP.
I mean, what I really realistically hope happens, I hope, they roll with Jalen Hurts this year. Use a couple of those picks, those first rounders, possibly trade one of those first rounders for another first next year, trade for a first next year.
First or something.
That way it's an insurance policy where, hey, if Hurts isn't the dude after next year, you'll have a first rounder to use either to help trade for a QB or, move up in the draft to draft a QB,
Right.
at that point. So, I mean,
That's probably the best case scenario.
Use it as like an insurance policy. It's one of those picks or something, just to make sure. But I definitely would rather roll with Hurts.
Exactly. I think, me personally, I know Mac Jones is a rookie. I would rather have Mac Jones, let him develop, let him continue to learn, than insert Russ into that system and just, we got Russ now.
Use this year and all these picks you have and all this. We're going to have a ton of cap space to just build this squad. Build this defense, go out and get a nice free agent wide receiver, get an Allen Robinson. You have the money to do it. Or I don't think we get in Devontae. We don't have the money for that now. I don't think. But an Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, or, Calvin Ridley or something. So, one of those nice free agents.
Right.
Help that offense out. Hell yeah, though. Apparently Nick Sirianni said that he sent – I don't know if it's true or if he was just joking, but he said he sent 2 kegs of beer to Jason Kelsey's house to try to convince him to play next year.
He probably did. He's like, everybody laughs when he says that. He doesn't crack a smile. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, I need this.
I set up 2 kegs. I need this dude here next year. He's still playing top 5 of his position. Come on now.
He is, man.
But that's all the news I really had as far as Eagles. Really isn't too much going on. Man, the Bulls we're number 2 in East still right now, but injuries are plaguing this team as of right. And there was one that just popped up as we were talking here. Really? So I have to talk about that. I mean, we talked about Alex Caruso. He's out 6 to 8 weeks at least after sustaining that wrist injury he had surgery on already. Lonzo Ball underwent an arthroscopic surgery on his left knee, and he's expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks around the same time frame.
Jeez.
So a little before the playoffs. Zach LaVine just came back. He played last night. He's part of the win. DeMar sat out last night just for rest because he's been hooping nonstop with all these young bloods. There's nobody else out there. He's hooping. He had 41 the other night.
He's like, coach, I need a night off,
that was literally he had 41 the other night. It was a season high, and last night he was just out for rest. They just sat him last night. He was just chilling on the side. But I was glad to see Zach back. Lonzo's out. Derrick Jones Jr. just came back the same night, last night with Zach LaVine. They were both out for a minute, and now Derrick Jones Jr. has a finger fracture and is out 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's going to take him out a long time. That's unfortunately, it's a tiny injury, but it's one that is going to be effective. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's another player out 6 to 8 weeks. So I expect, them to be signing some hardship contracts, be probably going into this trade deadline a little bit more active than they thought they were going to be.
It's scarier for you in the East than it is for me in the West right now.
That's true.
There's so many good first teams. Place and 7th place, between 1st and 6th, there's a 2-game gap.
Oh yeah.
So if Philadelphia wins 2 games, like they could be going from 6th to 1st in like nothing.
That's why I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, we just need to try to string some wins together to kind of hold in place. And because we went from 1 to 2, we went 1 to 3, and now since the Nets lost again, we're back up to 2 because we lost. So I mean, I'm just hoping we can, because Zach's back, DeMar's back, so they're both in there. Vooch is there, so we got a big man. So we still got a big 3 in a way. And that leads me to my next thing. Our rookie, Ayo Dosunmu, absolutely balling, dude. He could, he's actually starting now, and he's getting, these minutes that he wasn't getting before.
Right.
He broke a record the other night for the most consecutive makes to start a game for the Bulls.
Really?
Yeah. It's a Bulls rookie, yeah. And it was he went 9 for 9 to start the game.
Damn.
And the last one to do that was in 1982. He went 8 and 8, and that was who was it? Orlando Woodridge.
Okay. And that's the rookie stat, right?
Yeah, the Bulls rookie record.
Because I was saying, I feel like Michael probably came out and dropped.
Oh yeah, it was Bulls rookie record. Yeah,
20
he went
straight.
The dude went 8 for 8 before, and then Ayo went 9 for 9 last night against OKC. But yeah, he went like 9 for 9. He ended up with 24 points and he had like 9 assists and like 5 rebounds. But like as a rookie, he was a steal in that second round, man. And he's been hooping, and Kobe White's been hooping as well. So I'm hoping we can just kind of hold it down, get some wins. I mean, we were in a tight contest against the Bucks the other night, who had a pretty healthy roster.
Yeah.
And it came down to, I think they only won by like 2 points or so. So we were still able to hold our own, but I still expect them, try to go out, get Paul Millsap, hopefully. Maybe try to get a big man. They're still involved with trade talks for Jeremy Grant, and they're trying not to give up Patrick Williams. So Jeremy Grant could be on his way to Chicago possibly by the trade deadline, which would help. But I don't know. It seems like the Bulls want to try to go in all in and win it this year, but man, these injuries are not good right now. But at the very least, hopefully this team is healthy, fully healthy by playoff time,
We'll see what happens, man. I think it's a good, it sounds bad, but it's a good time for this to be happening to you because there's so much of the season left.
Exactly. We're not even at the All-Star break yet.
Right.
And it's looking like Zach and DeMar both could be in the All-Star game. So that would be kind of cool.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool. But that's all I have as far as bias bubble. We can go right into the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. Okay. Wide receivers be forever compared to Jerry Rice with 12 of the most coveted NFL receiving records. None are more impressive than his unbreakable record, his 22,895 all-time receiving yards. A player would need 1,150 yards for 20 consecutive seasons. And number 2's Larry Fitzgerald is over 5,000 yards behind Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. Like, Jerry Rice was a different breed. He was like the Tom Brady of that era. He was the best player in the league, like hands down. Just
22,000, almost 23,000 receiving yards total. That's
setting them Wayne Gretzky records.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it'll get broken in the future, but it doesn't look like it. Maybe because I did have the 17th game, so it's possible,
Yeah.
If you have like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson that's getting 1,000 every single year or something.
And this was his first year, and it was so that's a player that could potentially do that, or Devontae maybe in the future.
Yeah,
that's interesting, man. That's very interesting.
I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, there's so many stats you could bring up about Jerry Rice, for the body.
So I have an interesting fact. This isn't a stat, but it's a fact. It relates to Jerry Rice. The 49ers game that's like called The Catch with the white cart catching that ball in the end zone? Yeah. Tom Brady was in the stands that day.
Really?
Tom Brady watched that happen. You know what I mean? So like it's like a storybook. Like the young Tom Brady was in the stands. He grew up a 49ers fan. He lived in San Fran. You know what I mean? Yeah. He grew up there. Like, so I just think I've heard that years ago, but I always thought that was awesome that Tom Brady was there in the corner, like in the stands, like super close to it. He wasn't on like the other side of the field. He was there to see one of the greatest plays in NFL history. It's still talked about today,
That's crazy. And now he's a legend.
Right. I just thought, like, I think, like, was there any other future NFL player, period, even in the crowd that day, type of thing? Like, what are the chances Tom Brady was just, it's just a cool little fact I like.
That is nuts to think about. And it makes you think about, like, who, once Tom, retires, who's going to be the next NFL's, like, legend that could come out?
Probably
like,
a high schooler or a middle schooler right now.
Possibly. And the same thing with, like, LeBron James. Like, who's going to be the next that dude?
I know who the next Tom Brady is. Archie Manning.
Archman. It's quite possible. It's quite possible.
Talk about having a good support system.
This dude, what? He's getting like 50-something points or whatever in his high school. He's dropping like 50 burgers, 60 burgers.
Exactly.
Yeah, fully agree. And he got his whole Payton, his whole Manning family teaching him everything, how to read defenses, how to do this, and that. Like, this dude, he's going to be way ahead. Exactly. Like, going into college, he's going to be slaughtering. Coming in the NFL, he's going to be slaughtering. I hope not. There's part of me, I hope maybe we're available. We can get an Archie Manning. But the next time, I hope we're not that sad where we need a quarterback at that time.
Right. By that point.
Good at that point.
Because that's only a couple years away.
Hopefully. But yeah, that's the show this week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out all of our content across our Waves 5 channel here. Make sure to go check out all the content across Sideline Sports. So much content there. We have a big announcement coming up. We can't announce it quite yet. Got some stuff cooking in the works. Big, huge announcement coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to go follow us at Squad Pod Sports on Twitter. And we're going to be looking forward to these next games. Super Bowl's coming up here in a couple weeks, but
can't wait.
So until next week, we'll see everybody later.